You are fake news.
Sir.
My name is Samid Chakrabarti, and I'm the product manager for civic engagement at Facebook. I want to share a little bit about how we're fighting the downsides of social media on democracy, and also how we're working to amplify the positives. Let's start with the elephant in the room. During the US 2016 election, organizations based in Russia turned social media into an information weapon to undermine American democracy. This was a new kind of threat that was hard to predict, but we should have. But it's not just about foreign interference. While social media gives more people voice, it can also be used to spread hoaxes and misinformation. That's why we're working with third-party fact-checkers so that they can help us identify which stories are false, and once they've identified those, we work to really limit the distribution of those stories on Facebook. But even if we eliminate all misinformation from Facebook, people might still choose to read information that fits their existing points of view, creating a filter bubble and driving us all further apart. There are some obvious ideas to trying to solve this filter bubble problem, such as showing people the opposite point of view. And what many social scientists have found is that when you show people views that challenge their own and you label them as being from the opposite side, this actually makes people dig in even more to their points of view and can actually create more polarization than it solves. So a different approach is to show people related articles to the ones that they're already reading, allowing people to explore many opinions, even the ones that they don't agree with. Now, so far we've talked about the problems around social media and democracy, but there are also many bright spots that give me hope for the future and keep me coming to work every day. First, according to the Pew Research Center, 2/3 of US adults get at least some of their news from social media. And people aren't just reading important news, they're actively discussing it. That's a big deal, because when people discuss the news, this actually makes them much more likely to be civically engaged in their communities. People who keep up with the news are more likely to volunteer in their communities. They're more likely to contact their elected officials and have their voice heard on issues that matter to them, especially amongst young people. Beyond the news, social media platforms, including Facebook, are also helping people take action. During the US 2016 election, we estimate we helped over 2 million people register to vote through Facebook. And after Election Day, social media gives people the ability to directly engage with their representatives. 87% of governments around the world have a presence on Facebook, and millions of people are now using Facebook to keep up with their governments as easily as they're keeping up with their friends. In short, social media, like all technology, amplifies human intent, both good and bad. At its best, it allows us to express ourselves and take action. At its worst, it allows people to spread misinformation and corrode democracy. This is a new frontier, and we don't pretend to have all the answers. But what gives me hope about the future is that the same ingenuity that made Facebook an incredible way to connect with friends and family can also be applied to making it a really important and powerful way for people to engage with their communities. And that's why I ultimately believe that a more connected world can be a more democratic one too.
Can you give us a question?
Don't be